Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this week's edition of Thursday Talks. And we are doing the Food Fundamental Series 2.0, presented by IHMA Aurangabad in association with our media partner, Today's Traveler. And the theme for today's talk would be exploring culinary culture. Our discussion today with our esteemed panelists endeavors to dwell on contemporary culinary market trends and the associated elements of product development, experience creation, and innovation. Without further delay, let me introduce the panelists to you for the discussion. Our first panelist, Zarin Mirza, a freelance chef consultant and food content writer. He is from the class of 2006 at IHMA. May I request Zarin to share with us her journey after IHMA? Zarin.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Chef Pramod, for giving us the opportunity today to share something with everyone and being together with the alumni. Uh, I passed out in 2006, and after that, I was selected as a Taj management training candidate, and I did my 1.5 years with them. After which I was posted at Land's End at Masala Bay and worked there for till 2010. I felt a need of coming back home, which is Ahmedabad, and where I started my own small cafe and went on with it for a year. After which I took up a teaching role along with consultancy, along with a celebrity chef Pranav Joshi. And I used to teach at an academy named by the same. After that, I was a part of a group which owns restaurants known as Tomatoes and Mirch Masala. Currently, I am working as a freelance consultant, and I take care of workshops also. Alongside, I take workshops for people interested in food. Um, that's about me, and I have been trying my hand at writing also.
All right, that's been an inspirational journey, Zarin. I'm sure your insight and experience in the diverse hospitality fields will add value to our today's discussion. Our next panelist is Dirham Haque. He's executive sous chef at Four Seasons Hotel, Bangalore, and is in the class of 2008 at IHMA. May I request Dirham to share a few words on his professional journey and shed some light into his motivation to join the industry?
Okay, very good evening, everyone. So, as Chef mentioned, in the very thank you, Chef Pramod, as well for the introduction. So, my name is Dirham Haque. I passed out in 2008. I was 2005-2008 Culinary Arts batch. Then in 2008, I passed out, and then I was a management trainee. So, with ITC Hotels, I was a WMI in which I specialized with Indian cuisine. My first posting was ITC Borea, then in a restaurant called Dampuk, where I specialized in. Then I was posted in Bukhara for some time. Then I was taking care of banqueting for ITC Moria. Then I was a part of the ITC Grand Chola pre-opening team as well, in which I was overlooking banquets along with the banquet chef. Then I left the company. Then I joined Arora Hotels in Oberoi, Gurgaon, where I was looking after their entire Indian cuisine portfolio. And then after that, I was transferred to Oberoi, Dubai, where I was a part of the pre-opening team for the Oberoi, Dubai as well, and the re-standardizing the Indian cuisine. So then I run a very successful Indian restaurant with them. It's called Ananta, where I could get 3 black hats for them, so which was very much equivalent to a 3 Michelin stars for that area. Then after that, then I joined Jumeirah Hotels, in which they have a resort called Jumeirah Zabil Sarai on the Palm. So I was a part of the Jumeirah team, overlooking their entire Indian cuisine portfolio, banqueting, and plus their Middle Eastern cuisine as well, overlooking 3 restaurants. Then I got a wonderful opportunity to come back to India after a stint in Dubai for almost 4.5 to 5 years. Then I was part of the opening team for Four Seasons Hotel Bangalore, where I joined as an executive sous chef in 2019, and then I opened the hotel. And right now, I am an executive sous chef. So, but overall, looking after the culinary, so I'm heading the culinary at the Four Seasons Bangalore. Thank you, chef. Thank you so much.
It's a great experience and exposure you have, Dirham.
Thank you, chef.
It's great to see you doing well, and we are proud of you.
Thank you, chef. Thank you so much.
Our next panelist, Vaibhav Arora, is executive sous chef at Renaissance, Ahmedabad, and he is from the class of 2007 at IHMA. May I request Vaibhav to share his journey in the hospitality industry and some of his fond memories from the institute. Vaibhav.
So namaste everyone. Hello, Chef Pramod. Thank you for giving the opportunity. I am passed out in 2007 from IHM Aurangabad, and then I got selected in hotel operation management trainee with the Taj Group of Hotels. There, the journey start of the hotel, and there I groomed myself over a period of time and was in the hotel till good number three and a half years. Then I got an opportunity to move into Marriott Hotels, and I moved to Chandigarh for a pre-opening of JW Chandigarh. And as everybody wants to go out, I also was willing to go out of India. So I landed up in a village kind of stuff. Where I landed is Ras Al Khaimah. It's in the UAE. Very few people remember. Can recognize where it is, but it's a very famous place for rack ceramic. You get RAK plates from there. Then I got married and I wanted to come back, so I landed up in again two-tier city, which is Belagavi, which is in Karnataka. I lead a team as a head chef at Fairfield by Marriott Belagavi. From Belagavi, again the journey has moved on. I came to a place where Zarin is. I am in Ahmedabad from last 2.5 years and doing a role of executive sous chef, apparently, and handling the food and beverage operation overall at the hotel. So that's my journey overall, and I thank IHM Aurangabad for teaching us and guiding us for the right directions, and we are at the right goal. Right? Thank you, Chef Pramod.
Right, I think chefs handling the entire food and beverage operation is becoming the norm of the day. All the very best to you, Vaibhav, and I'm sure that your experience will enrich this discussion and throw some light into different dimensions of the subject that we are handling today. And our last panelist from the class of 2013 at IHMA, Abhishek is chef consultant at RT Hospitality Services, Mumbai. Abhishek, may I request you to share your exciting journey through this culinary cauldron and a couple of milestones in your professional life. Abhishek.
Thank you, Chef. Thank you for the sweet introduction. And hi, everyone. So, as Chef mentioned, my name is Abhishek and I'm from Mumbai. And I passed out in the year 2013. So, it's been a good 8 years that my journey has began. And my first stint was as a management trainee at Starwood Hotels. Now it's become Marriott, and this was at Westin Gurgaon. So that was where my first experience of getting into the Indian kitchen began. And I was told that if you really want to get into Indian food, this hotel is the place for you. So I was like, of course, it's in Gurgaon, it's in Delhi, it's heart of North Indian food, and I learned a lot of stuff over there in Gurgaon. And then after that, I got offered at Le Meridien, Pune, as a CDP. So for me, I thought that I still have a lot of years to learn the essence of food, the Indian food. So I declined that and I chose to go to Saudi Arabia in Riyadh, where I was working with Michelin star chef Vineet Bhatia at Maharaja, and that's where my entire journey of modern Indian food began. And it was a good 1 year that I spent over there with Chef Vineet. Learned a lot of stuff. Then I came back to Mumbai, met Chef Rakesh Talwar over there, and from there I went to Malaysia restaurants, and I was heading the kitchen over there. So we did an Indian restaurant called the Rolling Pin. We did a local restaurant called the Boomerang, where we had Malaysian food. After that, a good 1.5 year I spent over there. I came back to Bombay, opened 2 more restaurants with Chef Talwar, at the Spare Kitchen Worli and the Spare Kitchen Juhu. After on that, we formed a team and we created this consultancy company called RT Hospitality, from where we began opening and consulting restaurants, doing menus for them, and we travel all across the globe, be it Africa, be it Dubai, be it USA, be it Hong Kong. A lot of exposure that has come across in the past 8 years, and it has been a beautiful journey so far. And of course, this wouldn't have been possible without my mentors from IHM Aurangabad, the chefs who taught me all the basics and gave me all the knowledge that I was supposed to give. Chef Murthy was there in my time, and Chef Mohib was there. These are all great chefs who have learned a lot from. So I really would like to thank all of them, and thank you for this opportunity.
Right, it's great to see the successful journey of all of you. Yeah, we at IHMA are proud of our people's success and and happy seeing you create your space in this culinary world. It's actually you who make us what we are, make IHMA what it is. Thank you for taking out the time to be with us today and join this discussion. Now let's move to our discussion part. The format for today's webinar would be a round of moderated questions for each panelist, which will last for around 30 minutes approximately, followed by a common question, which all the panelists can answer for another 15 minutes, and the last 15 minutes for the QA from the audience. All right. So all the audience, please type in your questions in the chat box, and we can take it up at the end of this webinar. Okay, all right, here we go. My first question is to Zarin. Of late, in the current market dynamics, what kind of product development requests are you dealing with from your clients? And where do you foresee the future of restaurant going to? Zarin? You are muted, Zarin. You are muted. You are muted.
I would like to, sorry for that. I would like to take the second question first. What has happened in the current situation, and when you see how the world has been going through climate changes and environmental changes, I really feel that we as chefs are responsible for a more sustainable environment which we need to create, so that we can balance out the ecosystem alongside. We are known as restaurants to do a lot of wastage, and as we if we can control our wastage and use an ingredient from all the part of the ingredient, then it makes more sense to sustainability. Uh, I, we as chefs are also supposed to educate people as to how we can be more sustainable in using everything from start to finish. And we also need to bridge a gap between the farmer and the consumer by making the customer aware that how each of us, this is how I see the future. So I feel that more restaurants with farm based products should be encouraged, and local and regional. Regional cuisine should be given more insights, and we should think global but eat regional. And when you eat regional, you boost the rural economy also, because you are giving your farmers who are around you more work. And since it is when you see on a smaller scale, hotels are now having kitchen gardens, which they produce a lot of their own fresh vegetables and herbs. But not only that is going to help, we also need to have people who are actively doing urban and rural farming, and which will bring to bridge the gap over here. The other part of the question, which is what kind of requests do I get to develop, is a lot of people during the pandemic have started cooking in their homes and have realized that they would want to learn a lot of things which they don't know. So, as a person who's been into teaching, I am taking a lot of workshops for people and encouraging people to make their food from scratch at home. The second part of what I have received a query for from customers is something which is ready, like a kit. So suppose you have all different kinds of ingredients placed into a kit, and that kit is given to the customer, is bought by the customer, and he can just go home and use this kit to make his dinner or lunch or breakfast or whatever part of it. A lot of people are getting into conscious eating, so a lot of pre-packaged food, which was initially very popular, will, according to me, in the future start going out, because along with COVID we've seen a boost in people wanting to eat fresh food rather than eat food which has been pre-made and packaged with different kinds of preservatives which are added to it. So a need of the hour is to make these different kinds of packaging, which is driven. Basically all the oxygen is sucked out from the package, so that the package retains its same quality till it reaches the customer. A lot of bread owners, bakery owners are already using this technology. A lot of pre-mixes are being made to available for bakery enthusiasts to bake on their own at home. During the pandemic, we saw a launch of lot of small scale businesses doing these pre-mixes and selling them. Gujarat is full of these premixes, because Gujarati food also demand, like Gujaratis when they travel abroad, they request for packaged dal dhokli also. Like I've seen people, they carry packets of dehydrated dal and dhokli which are available in the market in Ahmedabad and Gujarat. I am not aware whether they are available nationally in India. But this is how the progression is what I see, and this is what I would like to say. Thank you, Chef.
Great. Yeah, great, Zarin. It's thinking global, eating local. Yeah, local for vocal. I think that's going to be the way forward. I'm sure fresh food, sustainability. These are going to be keywords. I am sure that's going to be in the future. Okay, the next question is for Dirham.
Yes, chef.
Are luxury dining, healthy options, and sustainable practices going hand in hand in current market conditions? And as a PIC level 4 hygiene instructor and trainer, what advantages does an external certification provide to you professionally and in practice? Ram?
Uh, Chef, in terms of, first of all, very good evening to everyone again. Chef, in terms of the sustainable practices and the luxury dining and then healthy eating, then I always believe that the sustainable practices and the luxury dining was always hand in hand together. So because luxury food is always associated with a sustainability factor, and plus many people are preferring to eat healthy options these days. And post pandemic, this has become a very rigorous sort of a rule, because post pandemic, what has happened is that since the exports and the imports are getting deeply affected, so we all are switching to most of the low carbo practices or to the regional producers, in which we are trying to source from the farm to fork thing, in which we are trying to source from the local Indian produce, and we are trying to manipulate our menus, which are very sustainable, and plus logistics are deeply not affected with the same. So, so now with the post-pandemic, this has really affected us a lot in terms of chefs being there, in terms of hotels and then how to plan menus. So because there was a time when we were not getting any imported stuff from outside, we were not able to source any of the products. And especially if you are running a Pan-Asian restaurant, if you're running an Italian specialty restaurant in which you have expat chefs with you, then it becomes a great amount of difficulty for you in order to source these products out. So, but still, we were able to manage, and being in the garden city of India, the Bangalore, in which you have the wonderful cities nearby, in which you have some of the best producers nearby, you have the Ooty, you have Coorg and all these places, you are able to get some of the best organic producers, you are able to get some of the best of the greens and the herbs, you are able to get some of the best of the poultry, you're able to get some of the best quality of meats and seafood from the nearby areas. So this has really helped us. And plus, I strongly believe pandemic has taught us some things which we had never even thought in our life that we are going to go through that sort of a phase. Because our life was very comfortable, we were able to source all the producers, we were able to source all the things, we had an option to work around with a lot of menus. But now post pandemic, we were literally, so we were restrained to things which were so we were restrained to things in which we were supposed to make our menus, plan our events, plan our daily activities, and plus all the things. And plus healthy eating, yes, I strongly believe, because healthy eating has not only become a part of, I'm saying, in terms of the guests who come into the hotel, but if I only strongly look at for in terms of all the guests, all the team members, and maybe so maybe healthy eating has become a part of our life. So healthy eating has literally helped us in order to go into a practice in which we are trying to avoid what you call in which a lot of the fatty products which have a lot of cholesterol, which have a lot of oil content, and plus everyone is switching over to a very healthy diet. So then as a result, it has helped us to plan menus which are very vegan based, which are very keto based, and plus the menus which are like completely allergen free, in which you don't use gluten, in which you don't use dairy, in which you don't have any sort of a nuts. So these things have really helped us to come up to this level. In which strongly in my hotel also, in which I have a menu in which we have a part in which we try to assimilate a course or maybe a main course or an appetizer, so which is below the 1,000 calories, and plus we have been able to assimilate that. So sustainable practices, healthy eating, and plus the luxury dining, they all go hand in hand together, and plus everyone is shifting the focus to that side. And regarding Chef, your question number 2, PIC level 4, yes, PIC level 4. In terms of the hygiene certification, I believe this is one of my biggest achievements, in which I was able to get a PIC level 4 while I was in Dubai. So I was a PIC level 4 certified by the American Institute of Health and Safety. And PIC level 4 helps us in order to sustain the best hygiene practices in our kitchen, in order to sustain some of the most sustainable practices, taking care of the well-being of all the guests, making sure that the food is biologically safe, microbiologically safe, physically safe, chemically safe, and plus we are able to maintain the hygiene qualities of the utmost standards, so which help us to pass our internal audits and plus some of the toughest external audits as well in the hotels. So yes, PIC level 4, this strongly helps us to become and make our kitchens very, very safe and then environment friendly, and plus making sure everyone is up to date and then advanced in terms of the hygiene practices, so which adhere to the in terms of the standards, the way we operate in like different parts of the world, whether it's Dubai, whether it's Rome, whether it's Paris, or whether it's like different parts of the world as well. So we have been able to sustain that, and plus, yes, if we get trained in that, we are able to reinforce those practices, we are able to reinforce those standards, we are able to reinforce those checklists in our own kitchens, in our own places, wherever we are working, and then that helps us in able to achieve and to benchmark our standards, and then getting on par with the entire world in terms of the hygiene standards. Yes, sir.
Yeah, great, great, Dirham. I'm sure we were talking about hygiene. I am sure that we all used to talk about hygiene throughout, but then hygiene practices took an entirely different dimension after the pandemic. And I'm sure this certification will do a great good towards achieving quality standards. Right. My next question is to Vaibhav. As a firm believer in chefs being known for their creativity and the ability to develop experiences, could you shed some light on your creative process and how do you go about making memorable moments for your guests in your hotel?
I firmly believe that chefs are known everywhere. Any hotel, any restaurant, anywhere you go, the first thing, I mean, if you see a meet or see a chef around, you will intend to meet them because they're handsome like me, for sure. But not because we are the key makers. We are designing our food. We are designing our plates. So that's how the guest and us get connected directly. And after this pandemic, things have been changed. As everybody mentioned, that people are focusing more on food towards green vegetables or healthy food. As a chef, I always wish to fly in a sky with eagle eyes or hawk eyes and uh, travel a lot to observe guest habit. It's most important for a chef to understand the habits and culture and art of that place. This is very important. So wherever I have been posted, I've been migrating to different places, and the first foremost thing for 15 days or 20 days, I adjust myself first of all, and then understand the habits of local people. As a logo goes, go local. I always understand. The eating habits, culture, art, what people prefer, what is the spice level they prefer. And if I create that kind of menu to them, which resembles their food to them, it gives a smile to their face. And nothing else a chef wants except a smile on a face from the guest. When we talk about somebody's Zain was talking about gardening, farming. I also did a lot of hydroponic farming and a soil farming. I used to grow my own basil and in kilos. I used to grow a lot of lettuce. I used to grow a lot of peppers and coriander, curry leaves, banana leaves, even lemongrass, and a lot of things I used to grow on my own with the help of gardener for sure. But I used to guide them what I want when I want. Accordingly, we used to do a lot of hydroponic and soil gardening. Uh, I always try to bring the lost recipes, which has some fun and surprise element to a plate. This is most important because we are in Gen Z generation, and the old recipes has been lost. So this migration to different places teaches me, enhances my skill overall, which helps me actually getting the old recipes. I wherever I go in deep of that city or a state where where the local produce get it. I mean, if we talk about papad, it looks easy, it's easy to eat, and it's eaten by everybody. But how does it make? How who is making it? Where it has been produced? What are local elements? When we talk about fusion food, fusion is a kick. Everybody has seen a kick movie, and fusion is a kick to me by mixing different ingredients to a plate and making a dish out of it. Example, I will give you example. A garlic chutney from Rajasthani garlic chutney mixed with a Maharashtrian vada pav, you will not imagine how lovely it tastes. I have done it, and it has came out very well. I mean, uh, example, I'll talk about examples so audience can understand what I'm talking about fusion food. I'm sure everybody knows it. A bhattiga murg from a tandoor kitchen fly over to Japan and enter into a gyoza. It's a dumpling. It's a steamed dumpling which is pan seared. It's known as gyoza. When you enter, when you put a stuffing of bhattiga murg in a gyoza and serve it to the guest will get delighted. He will get his own flavor, and I have served my purpose of doing the fusion plate. Nonetheless, we always talk about plates. And I am in Gujarat. I am at Zarin's place. She's from Ahmedabad. I do a lot of fusion with tacos. So like a thepla taco with the chana chaat, it came out really nice. I was just thinking over it, and it came out really nice. I do a lot of fusion. That's how I this brings a smile to my customers, and I make sure that I uh, make this try to somebody to gather some feedbacks. it's very important to get feedbacks. There are bad feedback, there are good feedbacks, but the feedbacks are very important for us. That's how we grow. Otherwise, we are stagnant. We are happy. We are sitting in office. We are happy that everything is going smooth. But no, there is real time which is happening on the floor. To check the real time, we need to have feedbacks. Feedbacks are very important. When while cooking all these fusion foods, looking at different pictures, mixing of ingredients, mixing of different items from different states. That's how migration of different states help. Uh, I mean, basic cooking techniques needs to be followed, and it always help to follow the basic uh, authenticity of the ingredient, where it is coming from. You should know what is the original dish and what are you trying to deviate from. So that's how I play around with this food to get a memorable experience for my guests at the hotel or in the restaurant.
All right, yeah,
Thank you.
great, Vaibhav. No, that's great. And in fact, to be honest with you, you know, local food, ethnic culture is a subject that's very close to my heart, and I strongly believe that reviving that is one of the fundamental things that we as chefs of India should be doing. Because rather than promoting European food, we need to go back to our roots. Fair enough. And now my final question is to Abhishek. What are some of the innovative trends in modern Indian food? And if one were to set up an Indian cloud kitchen, what would be the advice you would give to young entrepreneurs? Abhishek?
Hi. All of you all have been sharing some great points, right, from sustainability to farming and the hygiene points, and Chef Weber with his fancy things that he's created in Ahmedabad, the thepla taco that just made me like I was really tempted at that time because I'm a Gujarati myself. So that really hit my correct note at the time. So, sir, your question regarding innovative trends about modern Indian food. Basically, I belong from a very diverse family, and just to let everyone know that I have a multicultural background. My grandma is a Maharashtrian. My nani is a Sindhi. I'm Gujarati myself, and my mom is a South Indian. So we've got all multi cultures in our family, and flavors is something that has been on point from day one for me. And so right from Sindhi curry to Maharashtrian amti to Gujarati curry, all these things have been developed with me from the beginning of my start. So flavors is something that is really really important in the whole trend of modern Indian food. And since you asked this question recently, I mean, couple of days ago, we were having this chat on. We have a group from IHM on WhatsApp. So everyone was throwing questions. What are people thinking about modern Indian food? People are doing random things here and there. So each to their own is what I'd like to say. If there are happy customers who enjoy the flavor, who enjoy the taste, then you've got the right spot. Like for example, someone was saying gulab jamun cheesecake. Gulab jamun cheesecake has been going on since the past, you know, almost 7 8 years, right from when Chef Vineet Bhatia brought it in the market, and people really connected well with it. It's basically gulab jamun is one of your favorite Indian desserts, and cheesecake is something when you've traveled abroad and you've come and you just blend these two together to make an absolutely fabulous dessert. And it definitely works. Something else that we did was a rasmalai cheesecake. And but of course we have to keep in mind the actual flavors that have to match all palates. And so modern Indian cuisine basically is not only about ingredients. Yes, ingredients play a very important role, but the technique the people are using in today's kitchen in today's time is something that is really important. uh, Earlier in the Maharaja times, where they were cooking in big cheese and lagans, and they were just making in bulk food. Now people want to make Indian food over a lava grill. For example, your barra kebab over lava grill, slow cooked. That is something which is happening right now. Something of a sous vide. Sous vide is something that is really growing in today's times, where a good lamb chop is cooked, marinated and cooked at a certain temperature between 64 to 67 degrees, and it tastes, it just pulls in all the flavors. So these are all the different techniques and cooking methods that people are bringing in today's times when it comes to modern Indian cuisine. It's not just about taking one cuisine from Mexico and mixing it with India and making what do you call a butter chicken taco. Yeah, of course, that is also very nice, and it is appreciated by everyone. I would say there is a lot of stuff that is in India itself. Basically, what modern Indian cuisine is all about is, in the earlier times where people would serve food in handis. Now they serve it in small plates, where each product is plated in a certain way. And those are all the innovative trends that are going on. Something like your molecular gastronomy has taken a lot of attention from over the past 3-4 years now. But I think that is also done and dusted. But what now people are coming to is, since it's pandemic and people want to get into smaller plates, enjoy quick bites, enjoy a drink, have a nice conversation, and get back to their homes. So that is what the trend that is going on right now is all about: small plates, quick bites, a drink in your hand. Something interesting that I came across was an alternative basically of a wine. So one of the mixologists, what I was learning and understood that from him is that there's beetroot, slow pressed beetroot infused with cinnamon, some dehydrated malta peels. It works brilliant, and along with that you serve some nice kebab, like a lamb Kerala lamb kebab. Absolutely fantastic, goes really well. So people have moved on from what earlier it was, and now getting these new trends in, and people are really enjoying the whole modern Indian style. And your second question was about uh, an advice that I'd give entrepreneurs for a startup, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So the only advice that I'd like to give is basically, uh, young entrepreneurs should have the whole. So there are two ways of looking at it. One is, if you are looking at it in a way of making money, or are you looking at it at a way of being passionate about it. So there are two ways of looking at it. When it comes to making money, I would say go safe, play safe, and do your right research location wise, and what cuisine is absolutely wanted in today's times. And you have to connect with what the audience really likes. When it comes about passion, I'd say that choose something that is not over and over served with a lot of people. Go with something unique, go with something different. And that's all I have to say about young entrepreneurs who want to open cloud kitchens. Yeah.
Thank you, Abhishek, for that thoughts. Okay, that brings us to the end of this session, and I'm sure it was a very engaging session, and I'm sure the audience would have gained a lot from your thoughts. Now, before I pose my common question to you, I would like all of you to think about three words that best describes your professional style. Okay, three words that best describes your professional style. Now, I will take your answer after this common question is over. Okay, now let me go to the common question. Very short, very quick answers for this. Uh, Everybody can pitch in. Yeah. In today's competitive market environment, innovation and creativity are quintessential qualities for success. Okay. Where do you personally draw your creative passion from? Did you get that question? Okay, where do you get your personal, where do you draw your personal creative inspiration from? Okay, because that's one of the most fundamental requirements of today's dynamic marketplace. Anybody can answer. Dirham, would you like to?
Yes, absolutely, chef. So
Yeah.
I was just waiting for someone to lead the to lead
Okay.
the answer at the very beginning. Okay, in terms of the creativity, then I strongly believe that okay, so we chefs are very creative, and plus everyone is aware about the same thing, and plus undoubtedly there's no fact beyond that. In terms of creativity and innovation, I think the education and the reading and the way we have to stay up to the trend and we have to analyze the market, I think these things never get over. The time we the time we become headstrong and we think that we are the best and we are the pioneers in the market, so then I think the game ends at that given point of time. We need to really remain up to date with so that the entire market trend, the analysis, and the way what people are liking, what is Instagrammable. I'm being very honest in terms of my menus also. So then I have to look at the presentations, I have to look at the tasting factors, and then I have to look at the things which look very beautiful as well. So whether it's Indian cuisine, whether it is Asian cuisine, whether it's a Thai, whether it's a Japanese, whether it's like any sort of a cuisine. So but presentation plays a very, very important aspect in it. And plus some of the things which are really trending in the market and which people would like to try, because at the end you are catering to the customer and to your own database and to your clientele. So you have to be very, very in terms of proficient in that, and you need to, and plus you have to make sure that you get in terms of the best ingredients which are available to you and you're able to source them perfectly. So because at the end the chef is only creative when he gets the best of the available lot and he gets the best of the ingredients. So these things really make a difference. And plus I do read every day. I'm being very honest, I make a point that I read at least 3 to 4 hours in a week, and I try to stick to my basics most of the time. In terms of my menus don't go into a very, very contemporary version. So plus I have my chef de cuisines who design the menus. So but strongly I believe in terms of traditional cuisine, in terms of keeping the thing very artisanal and retaining the flavors and plus retaining the entire what you call the palatability of the dish really helps you then in order to move forward. Because if you're not able to get the basics right, then you can never move to the contemporary aspect, and I think that becomes a very, very essential key. And still I keep up my pace with reading, then I keep up my pace with all the trends, what is happening around the world. And plus, we always try to make our menus based on that. Seasonal availability plays a very, very vital role. And I think these things really do help us to make our menus and then in order to become the leaders in the market. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, thank you, Dhiren Haq. We are running a little short of time. Anyway, next, Vaibhav, would you like to
So I
quickly?
agree with Diram. I mean, it's more of visuals. What appeals the customers to walk in and make you popular, make the dish popular. It's very important. It is very important to be innovative, be trendy, be Instagram fabby, and everything is important. But yes, uh, the basic the basic should be right. I mean, you cannot play around with the gravy. The gravy has to be right. Whether the butter chicken, you will be making a flying butter chicken or a lying butter chicken, that's a separate story, but the gravy should be correct. That's the
Absolutely.
more important and key for all cooking. Whatever you do, whatever you play around, the thepla has to be right. And let me go back to Abhishek. The thepla has to be right, whether it is being converted into taco or served as a thepla with a chutney.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Zarin, what do you think?
So I really feel when I think about creativity and passion and cooking, the first thing that pops up in the mind is Ratatouille, the movie. For me, that kind of sums up how food should be approached by a chef. When a customer eats your food, he should be able to relate to it with nostalgia, and the flavors should leave him speechless.
All right,
And I
right.
feel to be able to do that, you have to have experience with ingredients. You cannot just look, read, travel. You have to work with the ingredients day in and day out. When you work with ingredients day in and day out, it gives you a sense of an understanding of the taste, and when you keep tasting everything, you can do magic with them. And I really feel that customers point of view will be taken care of if you have worked with ingredients and you know the culture where you are serving.
Right,
So
yeah, 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 yeah. Quite true. Knowing your, loving your ingredients is what how we put it.
yes,
Love
you
your
the
ingredients.
more you work, when you work with the ingredient, it inspires you.
Yeah, yeah. Abhishek, quickly, your thoughts.
Yes, sir. Since we're running a little short of time, so I'll just add a few points. I mean, I agree with all the three of chefs who are here. Ingredients definitely, but also I'd like to say traveling is really essential to understand the knowledge of food all across the world. And the more you travel, you understand people's way of looking at it, their choice of food, how it is presented. Second is presentation plays a very important role, whether you're serving on a nice crisp banana leaf, or you're serving in a coconut shell, or you're getting the whole essence of these things, the resources that are available in at no cost. So these two are my points where innovation and creativity comes in. Traveling and presentation is essential.
Yeah,
Thank you.
great thoughts. Great thoughts from all the four of you. Okay, so let's go to that three words that I asked you to think about, which will best describe your professional style. Just three words that best describes your professional style. Uh, whom should I start with? Vaibhav? Three words. You are muted. You are muted.
I am too passionate.
Okay. Too passionate. Okay. Zarin, three words.
I think for me, sustainability and love for the food are important.
All right. Sustainability and love for the food. That's what describes your professional style. Great. Dirham?
Okay, for me, the three words would be passion, traditional, and sticking to basics. I think these three.
Basics.
Sorry,
Okay.
the third is
Okay.
not a word. Third is like an entire line in itself. So
Right.
sticking to basic, traditional,
Yeah.
passion, and artisanal. So these four
Right.
would be so my parameters. So when I look into that,
Yeah. I'm sure that traditional, I will pick up that particular word that you have used, traditional, ethnicity, back to basics and culture. I think that's what is going to be the future. Yeah. Abhishek, three words.
Uh, Three words that I'd say would describe me would be being calm, composed, and patience. And these three are really core values that I believe in, whether it's in the kitchen, whether it's facing a guest, whether it's everywhere, whether it's feeding the stress of pounding orders coming over order. And yeah, I mean, these three are major virtues that I and believe in. This is what speaks a lot about me being calm, composed, and patient.
Yeah, you do look calm. You
I
do
I
look very
have one more. I have one more for me.
okay.
That is thought on plate.
Sorry?
Thoughts on plate.
Oh, thoughts on plate. Okay. Great. Great. So I think now we will leave the floor open for the questions from the audience. Any questions from the audience? Okay, Arohi Kambe. I'm sure that I'm pronouncing it right. Question to Chef Dirham. You have you have truly seen Indian progressive food through a global lens while working in Dubai. Now that you okay, it's not a question. Okay, now you are what is it? You're back in India. How can you make Indian food niche with innovation while retaining authenticity? Okay, you have seen the global trend. Now, how can you make Indian food niche? I think that's a question. It was a long-winded question. Yeah, Dirham, I think the question is for you.
yes, I believe this is a very tough question which Arohi has asked me. I strongly believe this is not an easy question to answer. So Okay, in terms of to keep an Indian food niche with innovation, okay, we have to make sure that whatever pairing of ingredients what we are doing in terms, for example, if we are making a dish, if we are trying to innovate with a dish, then we have to make sure so that all the ingredients, okay, they get aligned to each other, they complement each other, and we are not putting anything and plus we don't put anything on a plate which doesn't go in a plate. So because just for the purpose, I've seen many of the chefs doing it. So they try to put all the pea shoots, or they try to put a lot of garnishes on top of it. They try to play with a lot of colors, so by dropping in the purees over there. So, but we have to make sure that whatever we are trying to pair up, especially with Indian food, and if we are trying to come up with a dish, we're trying to innovate with a dish. So then all the ingredients have to be rhymed to each other, and these all ingredients go on hand with each other. So I believe in terms of the modern Indian food as well, and in terms of the traditional food as well. For example, if we take an example of any single dish, for example, what Vaibhav also said, like butter chicken, right? So we have to make sure that we put the right amount of tomatoes, the right amount of butter, the garlic, or plus the cream, or maybe the kasuri methi, which is the fenugreek, or plus the red chili powder, whatever goes inside it, it has to be rightly paired well. And and then in order to make an Indian food niche and innovative, we have to look at the pairing of the ingredients. For example, we can make a biryani out of a lamb, we can make a biryani out of a vegetable, we can make a biryani out of a chicken, we can make a, or plus we can come up with a guchi pulao as well. So I think sticking to basics really help us. And then only, so the time when we know the basics, so then we can innovate upon whether we are trying to do a modern Indian food, or the time we are trying to do, or plus we are trying to innovate with some of the other trends. So in terms of Indian cuisine itself.
Thank you, Dirham. That was quite comprehensive answer. Yeah. Is there any other question or yeah? Mr. Jayaram is asking, is the hot kitchen still popular in times of food delivery? Is pastry taking over the culinary world? What he's basically asking is that is there a competition between hot kitchen and pastry, and is pastry taking an upper hand? Anybody want to answer that? Who is going to answer that? I'm sorry. Yeah.
So,
Zarin?
yes, the hot kitchen is still popular because food deliveries through the hot kitchen are very swift nowadays. Rather, they've become like the balance, the ratio between the customer dining in and customer taking away the order or taking a delivery option is becoming more. So yes, the hot kitchen is still popular in times of food delivery because the food delivery is delivering hot kitchen food. And I have seen I had never seen five-star hotels trying to deliver their food, and now that has become a trend. So that is something, and even in restaurants and standalones, the ratios have shifted. Initially, you would have 80% dine-in and 20% deliveries and takeaways. Now the ratios have flipped to 60-40. So 60 is deliveries and takeaways, and 40 is in-room dining. So yes, food delivery is playing a major role in today's future, and pastry is dominating the world right now. The globe is like I can name so many pastry chefs who are doing so much creative work and very different work. Uh, Pastry is an artist form of expression, so I haven't been able to do it. So I would love to dabble in it, but I don't have the patience for it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Any other questions? From Nishant, what are some of your major challenges in food cost control in the current context? What he means is in the pandemic context. Who would like to take that question?
So I will answer that question. We started doing flying buffets.
Okay.
It's a new concept. I mean, cook in small quantities and produce as per guest needs. That's how the food cost will be maintained. Otherwise, not laying buffet more than 15 people. Uh, where we need to judge where the food cost is lying. I mean, which area? whether it is a la carte restaurant or a pastry or a bakery or an Indian kitchen or a Japanese cuisine. So we need to capture the high ticket items. That's how the food cost will be controlled. If you keep a strict control over high ticket items, I think we are home already. I am home already from last 1.5, 2 years. I have been facing this pandemic and I've been safe on this.
Okay. Right. All right. All right. All right. Any other questions? If there are no more questions, then I would. Yeah, there are. Okay. Will the value of classic Indian food be lost in future as everyone is developing taste for modern Indian or fusion food? So, yes, yes, Abhishek.
I think I'm going to answer that, and
Yeah.
this is actually it's modern Indian food has been there since the past 10 years, 12 years almost now, and what I see and what I feel and what I would like to personally bring back to the trend is the classic Indian food, and a lot of restaurants are actually bringing back what classic Indian food is. So don't worry, classic Indian food is always going to be there no matter what, because everyone wants the comfort of being served a nice butter chicken, a nice hot garlic naan next to you, and the conventional style of the service is always going to be there. So don't worry, modern Indian food or fusion food is just a phase, or something like a trend that is happening these days, and there's no way classic Indian food is ever going to be lost ever. In fact, it's going to come back to being what it was, because sometimes people, like the whole pandemic, it made us realize a lot of things, and a lot of learnings that we got from this, and definitely people want to get back to the whole. So it's an entire cycle. So this whole pandemic was like a standstill. It gave you time to think about a lot of stuff, to reevaluate a lot of things, and now you again want to start fresh, where you started off with classic Indian food, go in the restaurant, and all those things are going to be there for sure. So that's my take on what classic Indian food is, and it's always going to be there no matter what.
Yeah, Zarin, you would like to say something?
Yeah, I would just like to add modern Indian cuisine doesn't actually say that it is taking away from the classical Indian food. What we need to realize is we need to, when you say we modernize Indian food, we are using modern technique to bring out Indian food. So we have to realize
Correct.
one thing, that when you are using modern technique, you are basically making your job easier. Something which was cooked on on a charcoal in a different kind of a vessel, you are trying to replicate it in a different format of a modern technique, and then trying to present it. Like I have a friend who who's the chef owner of Mask, and I really salute what he's doing today, because that is what modern Indian food is. But he's using all traditional ingredients, he's using modern technique and bringing out the best flavors from them. So I feel you will not lose Indian classic food, but you have to evolve with times. Like when you evolve with times in to do certain processes, this is one of them.
I
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
agree.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that ITC hotels doesn't change or hardly changes the menu of their classical restaurants. I'm sure. I don't know. I'm
Absolutely.
not very sure whether it is Bukhara or whether it is Dampuk, but they hardly change their menu. So I'm sure classic cuisine is something that's going to be there throughout. We can't really replace Indian classical food. Yeah,
So
as
Bukhara, the
Zareen was
menu
saying.
hasn't changed, chef.
Yeah,
Bukhara, the menu
Bukhara.
hasn't changed since inception.
Yeah, Manu hasn't
Since
changed since.
1977, yes.
Yes, so I'm sure that
Still 9
that's a
main dishes on the menu.
yeah, I'm
So
sure.
it's a
Yeah,
classic.
yeah, it's yeah. Any other questions? Okay, from Surbhi, can you share any one suitable practices followed in your respective operation? I'm
Sustainable.
not sure what. Okay, sustainable. I'm sorry. Sorry, I couldn't read it properly. Any one sustainable practice followed in your respective operation. So, any one sustainable. Anybody like to?
I would like to answer this. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
No,
Right.
go
Zarin,
ahead,
you want?
Dirham. I'll talk later. You don't toss.
Okay, sustainable practices. I believe supporting the local farmers, farm to fork, is one of the most essential thing in which everyone on date and plus being in the culinary industry, I think we should follow it strongly. In which I follow it very strongly rather than buying it from the heavy marketeers or the people who are doing the logistics. So then I try to support my local farmers and plus the local produce of the area nearby. So I think that's the sustainable practice which I strongly follow then in my operations.
Zarin, would you like to add on?
Yeah. When you run a standalone restaurant, following sustainability is a very difficult task compared to when you are in hotels. I would say that the first step towards making a kitchen sustainable is waste management and segregation of waste so that it gets created into decomposed waste and keep the plastic and the glass and the metal waste separate. That's a very big challenge for standalone restaurants and restaurant chains, because what happens is that's the it's a very simple factor, but when you start, you have to start educating your restaurant staff to do that, and this restaurant staff mostly comes from a very different background than which is in hotels, so you have to understand sustainability at the waste level is very important to start with, and then you move in higher places in the process chains where you can get sustainability. But uh, segregating your garbage and decomposting pits being made and having a decomposter accessible for the restaurant is where you should start at the ground level.
I'm sure of that. Segregation of garbage. When you mentioned that, you said small restaurants. No, segregation of garbage. I'm pretty sure that it's an issue in the bigger hotels also. Because that is a big time problem, and that happens to be one of the most fundamental things as far as sustainability is concerned. But yes, that's a culture that need to develop over a period of time. Yeah. Thank you, Zarin, for that. And any other questions? All right. If there are no more, uh, then we have come to the end of this discussion. Let me thank all of you for taking out your time and being here and sharing your valuable thought and your experience with the audience. And I'm sure that they have gained a lot from that. And I thank all of you for all the viewers, all the participants for being there till the end and supporting this webinar. Thank you very much. We'll be back again next week with another entertaining or entertaining and enriching Thursday Talk series. Until then, cheers. Thank you very much and good evening.